Let people judge you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them criticize you. Let them gossip about you. Let them doubt you. Let them talk about you behind your back. Let them stay stuck. Let them ignore you. Let them do all the things. I just want you to let them. Just let them. Because when you just let them, that's when you get your power back. That's when you realize that you are more in control than you think. Y'all, this concept was just so beautiful and freeing to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my own spin on it. And so I'm just going to share with you the just let them from my perspective. But first, I just want to give a shout out to Author Cassie Phillips. Cassie Phillips, oh my gosh. Like, she originated the idea from, as far as I know, with her poem. She has a poem called Just Let Them. And the poem is just so beautiful, so magical. I'm actually going to read it at the very end of this video, so stick around for that. But yeah, author Cassie Phillips, she created this poem. And then I think from there, it kind of just started picking up traction, gaining visibility and taking off. And other people, started to recognize it. And Mel Robbins, she recently, I think last year, created a book about it. And it's just a really, really good, it's a really great concept. And I think everybody should learn how to adopt the mindset of just let them. And so I'm just going to jump right into this video so that I can help you out on your let them journey. Let them misunderstand you. When people misunderstand you, what they're doing is actually interpreting your actions through their own biases and their own perspectives. And for whatever reason, like what they see on the surface, they are assigning labels to you that may not even be part of who you are. And so if you get bogged down trying to say, why are they misunderstanding me? Like, why can't they see the true me? Then you're going to start sending yourself down a rabbit hole and a path that is not good for your mental health. And speaking as somebody who's been misunderstood or who felt misunderstood for most of my life, and who's tried to get people to understand me, one thing that I've realized is that the reason why I'm misunderstood is because I'm simply being me. And when people can't understand who you are at the core, like all the things that make you you, they just can't understand it, so they misunderstand. And so stop trying to get people to understand you. If they are committed to misunderstanding you, it is not your job to constantly have to correct or to defend yourself against every single misunderstanding that people have about you. Because if you do so, you're going to exhaust yourself, drive yourself crazy, and burn yourself out. And as you grow and live your life, regardless, you're going to be misunderstood. It is absolutely inevitable. It is unavoidable. And so focus on staying true to your intention. And most importantly, you have to know who you are above everything else. So let people misunderstand you. Like, your clarity isn't going to come from explaining yourself any more than you already did. It's going to come from you living authentically and not worrying about the people over there who are committed to misunderstanding you. Okay, so like, no matter how much it bothers you, you got to realize that it is not your job to get people to see you in the light that you want them to. Let them think you're wrong. I know, like, sometimes everybody wants to be right, nobody wants to be wrong. And so you go to bat for things that are your truth, like your beliefs or whatever, and you try to get people to see, oh, I'm right. But you know what? Like, save your energy. Let folks think that you are wrong. Let them think you're wrong. Being wrong in the eyes of people does not mean that you are wrong in your actual truth. And so if people want to think you're wrong, so be it. Like, let them think that you're wrong. Like, the need to be right will actually fade for you when you recognize that your purpose is absolutely not up for debate. And when you realize, the things that are most important, you're just going to be like, let them think that I'm wrong. Let them people judge you. Let them people judge you. What I have come to realize is that when people judge you, it's often a reflection of their own insecurities. And it doesn't have any bearing or accuracy on the measure of who you are and what your worth is. Like, people judge because they lack depth or insight. And when I talk about judgment. I'm not talking about like righteous judgment or constructive criticism or looking out for someone's best interest, because that definitely has its place. But I'm talking about the kind of judgment where people are saying negative things about you. You know, let's say that you are finally brave enough to put yourself out there. For example, I'll use myself. Like, I'm finally brave enough to be consistent with this YouTube thing, okay, and to create this content. And so if somebody see this video and be like, girl, look at her, look at what she doing, and they got something to say negative about what I'm doing, guess what? Let them judge you. Let them judge you. People's thoughts have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. People are going to judge you at every step and every walk of your life, whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad, whether you're doing excellent, whatever. So that's why it's so important to walk in your truth, walk in your purpose, and to know what your truth and purpose are. That way you don't get sidetracked by the noise and what people are saying and all the negative things they have to say about you or how they're judging you unfairly. Like, you got to stay true to who you are, who you know you are. You have to focus on your growth. Focus on your focus. Don't focus on their assumptions or their negativities. Focus on you. Their judgment says way more about them and their mindset and what they got going on than it does about you and your action and what you're doing. So let them folks judge you. Let them walk away. Whew. Now, this one is so hard because, you know, it's hard when people walk away from us. It's hard when people ghost you. It's hard when people just up and leave you. But I will say this, like, not everybody is meant to stay in your life forever. The reason why is because it is a part of growth. And the people who you start out with, or who you've maybe been best friends with, or who you were close acquaintances with, they're not going to always be in your life forever. And I know it can hurt, like, when they decide to walk away, but you got to respect it and understand that it is part of the process. And many times it doesn't have anything to do with you. Get that? Like, most of the time it has everything to do with them. Especially if you are in a growing phase. If you are growing at a speed that's much faster than the people around you, then they may not be able to handle your growth. It may actually push them. It may show a mirror to their lack, you know, the things they lack, or it may highlight things that they need to work on themselves. And so they can't stand being in your light. They can't stand being around you. And so they have no other choice but to walk away. They ghost you. You gotta let them go. Because when they leave, their departure is an opportunity for your own evolution. It's a chance for you to fully step into who God is calling you to be, without guilt, without attachments, and without anybody slowing you down. That is your opportunity to go in at it full force. So allow people to leave. It can actually be a gift, because quite honestly, many times some people in your life, they simply need to leave. They no longer need to have a seat at your table. And maybe you don't have the courage, you know, to put up boundaries and to let them go. So when they leave on their own, it's actually a gift and you should be celebrating. Now, it may not feel like a gift at first. I get it. But over time, as you continue to grow and heal, you're going to begin to see. And so just know that every exit creates a space for something new and better to come into your life that is going to be more aligned with you and with your purpose. New people, new opportunities. You can't sweat the things that are leaving your life. Like, you have to embrace it and see it for the better. Let them think you're too much or not enough. Now, I know we've all experienced this where, you know, somebody's like, oh man, he too much, or she's too much, or she's not doing enough, he's not doing enough. First of all, who has determined or created a threshold of what is doing too much or doing not enough in those instances? Because I think most of the time when people say, oh, they're doing too much, these are just labels that they assign as a way of making themselves feel comfortable for what they're not doing enough of. And so when somebody says you're doing too much, but in your mind you feel like you're doing just enough of what you need to be doing, then you just gotta let folks think that. Let them think what they think. Like, it's fine for them to think whatever they gotta think, whatever they gotta tell themselves, because you already know that's not your truth. And you are not responsible for meeting the standards of anybody else, because that's what it is. It's their standards. You're not responsible for that, because guess what? You got your own standard. And so you need to walk boldly and hold true to your standards and what you got going on. You have to embrace your uniqueness, embrace who you truly are. Stop trying to fit into the mold of other people who say you're to this or you're to that or you're not enough, and focus on you. Like, stop trying to fit into the mold of these other people, because you'll never be happy. You'll never be satisfied, and you'll never be fulfilled trying to meet somebody else's standard of what they think you should be. And so when you start embracing who you truly are, you are going to realize that there's actually no such thing as too much or not enough. You're exactly what you need to be and how you need to be. Let them doubt you. Like, when people doubt you, it's because they often cannot see your full vision. And their inability to see your vision, your plan, your goals, if they can't see it, they're going to doubt you. And so they may be also doubting themselves about doing certain things. And so since they doubt themselves, they don't even have a full confidence in themselves. And so that's why they're trying to transfer their doubt to you. And you cannot allow somebody else's doubt to interfere with what you got going on. You got to use that as motivation to keep pushing forward, to keep going, because believing in yourself matters far, far more than people who may be skeptical of you and who may not believe in you. Doubt from other people becomes so irrelevant when your belief in yourself is so solid and it's so unshakable, because at that point, it doesn't matter who doubts you. Like, anybody can doubt you, and you're still gonna be out here pushing forward because that's how much you believe in yourself. Let them talk behind your back. Because when people talk behind your back, like when they gossip about you, it says everything about them and it don't say nothing about you. Because most of the time, like, when people are gossiping, it shows that they ain't got nothing better else to do. Like, what are you doing with your time? Like, most people I know who are building better lives, who are building things, or who are just trying to become better versions of themselves, better people, they don't have time to sit around and talk about what other people are doing, because they are too busy and so focused on trying to become the best, most ideal version of themselves. So when people are out here gossiping about you, yeah, it's gonna hurt. Like, you'll hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, but you can't take it to heart. What they say about you when you're not around does not define who you are. It doesn't define your character. It doesn't shake or move anything, because who you are is still who you truly are at the core. And what somebody else says about you, or, what they try to get other people to believe about you, it doesn't change you. And what I've learned is that at the end of the day, the truth always comes out. Like, the truth always exposes itself. And so, when people are talking about you, when they're slandering you, and when they're saying things about you that are not ideal, that are lies, eventually the people who they talk to you about, they're going to be able to see you for who you really are eventually. And their lies won't hold weight. So that's why you can't worry about the people who gossip about you and say things behind your back. You just got to stay focused on you got to stay focused on your goals. You stay focused on the things that you have been called to do. Let that little gossip fall by the wayside, back in the background, because it ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, what other people say about you behind your back is none of your business. Okay? And it does not change who you are. Remember that what somebody else says about you does not change who you are at the very core. So let them talk. Let them ignore your boundaries. Like, we fight so much for our boundaries and for people to see them and for people to respect them. But you know what? Like, at the end of the day, our boundaries are for us to execute. Our boundaries are for us to make sure that we are safe and secure. It's not about, other people ignoring them or them trying to run over you, because if they do, that's when you just have to step to the plate and say, this is what it is, and this is how I'm honoring myself. Boundaries are there for your protection. They're not there for the approval of anybody else. And so if they ignore it, then that's fine. Like, you have to enforce your own boundaries through your actions, not by whether someone else accepts them or not. Like, you have to stand firm on your word. And if that's what it is, then that's what it has to be. So when somebody is ignoring your boundaries, you have to realize that a boundary being ignored is a relationship being defined. And so your choice needs to be to uphold your boundaries and not worried about who's ignoring them. Let them stay stuck in the past. Like when you start to grow, first of all, growth is a choice. And that's not a choice that everybody is willing to make. So when people want to stay stuck in the past and they don't want to grow with you, you cannot force them people to grow or to evolve with you. You gotta worry about you. You gotta worry about staying focused on you. You gotta worry about staying focused on your future. That's gonna be way more important than trying to drag other people, out of their past and drag them and trying to get them to evolve if that's not what they are wanting to do. And as you are growing, people might say, oh, you've changed, or, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. Okay, let them. Let them think that. Actually, you should be changing. If you are growing and evolving, then guess what you're doing? You're changing. That is the pure essence of growing. And so if people don't want you to grow, if they don't want to grow with you and they want to stay stuck in the past, then let them stay stuck there. Let them stay back there, okay? If they try to bring up who you were prior to your growth, let them do that too. Because it ain't got nothing to do with who you are now, like the person you are today and who you are in the present. Like you can't allow that to get you off track. You got to keep your eyes on the goal, which is your growth, your progress, your moving forward. So when people want you to be stuck in the past, leave them people where they at. In the past back there. Let them take credit. Like there's going to be so many times in your life when people try to take credit for the things that you're doing, and you're going to be wondering like, why can't they just give me credit when they know for sure that I'm the one who the credit belongs to? But that's fine, because guess what? Your success and the things that you put out there is not diminished by somebody else taking credit for your ideals or not giving you credit or, for the things that you're doing. Like you're going to be successful regardless. It's in your DNA. It is the essence of who you are. The gifts, the talents that you have cannot be undenied. It cannot be hidden. They naturally flow from you and they come out of you. So it doesn't matter if somebody else takes from you and doesn't give you credit, because you being you being the authentic you being the true you, putting yourself out there is always going to win in the long run. And this is especially true, I would like to say, for creators and business owners and just anybody who is putting your ideas out into the world. Like somebody is going to take from you and not credit you. And no matter how difficult that process, may be, because that that's something that you wouldn't do to anybody else, you cannot allow that to discourage you. You have to stay focused on creating more. You have to create more. You got to focus on putting out good work no matter what, and not dwelling on what somebody else is doing. Because when your impact is undeniable, the truth is always going to reveal itself. Let them envy you. Now, envy is a word that I don't really like to use, because in the Bible, envy is a very, very dangerous thing. But when I say let them envy you, it's because you have no control over what other people do. And if somebody is displaying that type of emotion, that's in their heart. That is within them. And the only thing that you can do is pray for them and keep them over there, okay? You cannot stop someone from envying you. Let's say you're somebody who is like successful, or you come up or whatever the case may be, and you have the heart to try to truly help the people around you. And the people who are around you are envious in spirit. That's not going to stop them from being envious by you helping them. It's actually probably going to harbor and make the envy worse, which can be dangerous for you. And so you have to recognize those characteristics and know when to keep your distance. Let them envy you from over there. You should not have to adjust your life to make other people feel comfortable. That is something that they have to work out for themselves. So stay focused on being grateful. Stay focused on being humble and showing humility. Others people envy is about their insecurity, and it got nothing to do with you and what you got going on. And you just focus on never being the one to be envious of somebody else, because God has so much abundance to go around for each and every one of us. And his supply don't run out. Let them question your decision. As long as you live, people are always going to have a thought, an opinion, a suggestion, about how you should live your life. Keyword, your life. And the decisions that you make are ultimately always yours to live with. And so people are going to question things like, are you doing the right thing? Is she doing the right thing? For example, I remember one time when I was debating quitting my job and going into entrepreneurship full time. I had well-meaning, well-loving people around me who was questioning, like, oh my gosh, like, that's not a wise decision to leave your job. Like, you're gonna leave your job to go into something that's unknown. But that's the thing, like, people question your decision when they haven't yet done something themselves. Like, if it's something new to them and they haven't experienced it, like, sometimes it's coming from love. It's coming from a pure place, right? It's coming from a place that they can't fathom or see the vision. And so they question your decision as a way to protect you because they don't know any other type of way. But then you have some people who will question your decisions as if you are unfit to steward your own life. Even when God himself has come down from the heavens and given you like the exact guidance and the plans on how you should live your life. But since they can't understand it from their perspective, they question it. And so let them question your decisions. You got to trust in you. You have to trust in yourself. You got to trust in your own decisions. Trusting in yourself is far more valuable than worrying about whether somebody else approves of your decisions and what you're doing. When you trust your own decisions, you don't need anybody else to agree with them. And lastly, let them go. Now, the other one was let them walk away. Let them walk away is from the point of view where somebody is doing it to you and they're walking away. You have no control over their actions, so you just let them do what they do. You let them walk away. But let them go is pointing a finger at you. It's turning around on you and putting a ball in your court. And now you have to make some very hard, difficult decisions to let people go who are not serving your mental and emotional well-being in the best way possible. So that's on you. So this is my version of just let them. You know, I just wanted to encourage you and to motivate you as you are on your personal growth journey to just let them breathe and just let them. It's about releasing any type of control that you had, and start to embrace your peace, embrace grace as you grow along your journey. And so each let them actually represents a moment and a choice for you to protect your energy and to focus on your purpose. When you stop trying to control what other people think or what they do, you will actually free yourself to become everything that you were meant to be, everything that you were created to be, and everything that God desires you to be. So I hope you found value, in this. And I promised you I was going to read the poem. So let me read you this poem real quick. But now I just want to close and read the poem that inspired all of this, because this poem is so, so beautiful. It is so heartfelt. It's just absolutely amazing. And it is Just Let Them by author Cassie Phillips. If they want to choose something over you, let them. If they want to go weeks without talking to you, let them. If they are okay with never seeing you, let them. If they're okay with always putting themselves first, let them. If they are showing you who they are and not what you perceive them to be, let them. If they want to follow the crowd, let them. If they want to judge or misunderstand you, let them. If they act like they can live without you, let them. If they want to walk out of your life and leave, hold the door open and let them. Let them lose you. You were never theirs because you were always your own. So let them. Let them show you who they truly are, not tell you. Let them prove how worthy they are of your time. Let them earn your forgiveness. Let them call you to talk about ordinary things. Let them take you out on a Thursday. Let them talk about everything and anything just because it's you they're talking to. Let them have a safe place in you. Let them see the heart in you that didn't harden. Let them love you. So that ended on a beautiful note. And, just like this video, I want all of this to resonate with you in your heart. You are worthy. You are deserving of love, peace, grace, abundance, all the things, okay? So just keep being you. And as always, God loves you. I love you. You are loved.